Hello everybody. Welcome back to my channel. Well, I've got something that I want to make with you today. I am using my Teflon mat, which is all inky. It looks very dirty, but I promise it's just ink. We're going to make some coffee filter flowers, and I've done them before, but I have an idea of something I wanted to do different. So I've got these brown natural coffee filters, but these have a little tab on them. So I'm just going to cut about like that. I'm just going to get rid of that little tab. So the idea, how many do I have here? 4? It does. That's 4. Okay. The idea is I want to take about 1 inch and I want to cut rounded about a strip, about 1 inch wide. Okay, and then we can go and you'll get quite a few flowers out of this. And we can go again. And as we go smaller, narrower, I'm going to go just a little narrower with my strip too. All right, and we may even do something with that. But for right now, let's use the biggest, the biggest ones. Okay, so this is what we have, and then of course you got this little piece right here, which I'm just going to leave it, but I'm going to trim it down a little bit, but I'm going to leave it connected. All right, so you've got this little circle. I'm going to take needle and thread, and I am using brown thread so that you can see, hopefully. Now this may be way too much, I don't know. We're going to just try it and see. And all I'm doing on the inside, like this was the top of the filter, I'm going to stitch right here, okay, on the inside of the curve. I'm going to put my knot on the inside. And I'm going to do really big stitches. Now, if we get around and decide this is just too much, then we'll just cut it down a little bit. So I'm just stitching through the coffee filter with pretty large stitches, because the stitches are going to kind of equal your flower petals, and if you put too many stitches and put them too tight, it'll be very hard to gather. So you see how big my stitches are? Pretty big. All right, so we're going to go back to where we began. I'm going to go right over that little seam there. And then I'm going to pull carefully. It is paper. It is a coffee filter. So we don't want to tear it up. But I'm just going to pull until I am kind of happy with it. And it's not too much. As a matter of fact, I think it'll be just fine. Okay, good deal. Now, where I ended up, where my needle ended up, I'm just going to go through the middle of the hole so that I'm on the back. This is the front. This is the back where my knot, see my knot, where my knot is. I'm going to go on the back and just kind of gather that up kind of the way I want it. And then I'm going to take some hot glue, and I'm just going to glue that little thread. You can tie a knot, but it's kind of hard to tie a knot and pull it tight and not tear through the paper. So I just put a dot of hot glue there. Okay, so we'll let that dry for a second. All right, and then we're just going to kind of arrange. I don't want that seam sticking up, so I'm going to kind of stick it around. So we can kind of arrange it and see, is that going to work? I think it will. Okay, now what I want to do, here's the thought. I'm going to fold it all up so that all the edges are pretty much even. Maybe I should do it like that. Okay, so the top, pretty much even. It may not be perfect, but pretty much even. I'm going to take some Distress ink. You can take any color you want. And I am just going to ink up the outer edge of the coffee filter. Now, coffee filters are very absorbent, and so they're gonna suck this in pretty good. All right. Now, I'm going to let it expand a little bit, and I'm going to take a little H2O. This is just water in a little spray bottle. And what's going to happen is this Distress ink is water soluble. Is that the right word? Water soluble? Yeah, I think so. And it's going to run. See, it runs and it bleeds. All right, so we got some napkins here. We can clean up our mess a wee bit. So that's going to bleed in. And you can see right there, I kind of missed a spot. No worries. We'll go right back in there, even though it's wet. And it's just going to pick that up. All right, I'll give that a little pump. And that's going to give us this beautiful edging to our little flower. And I still want a little more. Come on, man. Cooperate with me. All right, let's try that. Okay. Now, we're going to let that dry. Still kind of. And we can actually go back and rearrange it ever how we want it once we get it dry. Okay? So, I'm going to dry it, and I'll be right back. Okay, so these are pretty much dry now. I just took my heat tool, and what I did is I just kind of scrunched and scrunched like that, just to give them the leaves, the petals, a little more texture than they had. And this is so cool. This is walnut stain. When you wet it and it runs and bleeds, you get shades of green on the edges. How cool is that? So there's green in that brown. Pretty cool. All right, and I did another one. I just stitched another one while that other one was drying. And just going to kind of unfold it, unravel it. Now, I like a little bling, so I'm thinking we might spray this with some glimmer mist. Okay, so this one is called Secret Flowers, Tattered Angels Glimmer Mist. I'm just going to give it a little spritz. It's going to give it some glitter and some glitz and make it gorgeous. Okay, now that that has dried, I don't know if you can see the glitter. Abby, my dog wants to talk to y'all. Okay, so I had to go chase the dog. She wanted to play, and she gets feisty. So what I'm going to do is, I want to put a center on it. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to attach this with hot glue. This is just a backing, just to give it a base. And the reason I'm doing that is because I want to put my center here, and I don't want the glue to go all the way through. I got to have some kind of a base. So, put a little glue there. They're actually a very pretty color now. It's kind of a little bit of a dusty mauve, almost a peachy looking in there. You see how you can see the hole through that, so that's why I wanted to put something there. And then I'm just going to take some hot glue, and I'm putting some large pearls in the center, and I'm going to push it down for just a second and hold it because I want it to dry down inside there, kind of down in it. All right, put that down in there and hold. And now what we can do is fluff a little bit. So now we've got that glued down, and we can just kind of fluff it up however we want it, kind of on the edges, a little bit here and there, give it a little bit of 3D dimension. Just fluff this guy up a little bit. And there you go. It's just that simple. Some great, who would ever dream that was a coffee filter at one time? Okay, so they are finished. That's what we made today. Thanks for watching, guys. Go give it a try. It's a lot of fun. See you later. Bye-bye.